Welcome to
Dynamite Delight.
Guys. What did we get in this episode? As you see from the title, the comeback episode. We got a lot of comebacks. Let's start with Moxley versus Hangman Page. The match that was pretty much never followed up on immediately because Hangman Page had a bad concussion. Could not know what he was doing. He was messed up. And it took 3 months for him to come back and have another match with Moxley. This entire match was dedicated to proving that Hangman Page was fine, even though they kept trying to show the Hangman Page, could he still function? Could he still take it? Since that concussion, since he got concussed, can he function? Excuse me. That's what the entire premise was, and pretty much Moxley tried to lean into it as much as possible. But in the end, Hangman Page won as it was supposed to. And now you have a little bit of Moxley looking like that. Pretty much stunned because he got so many lariats to the head. Was this done well? Yes. Does this exonerate Hangman Page? Yes. But the question is, what next? Are you going to still have Hangman still dealing with Moxley? I kind of hope you do, because in this situation, it should have been followed up after that last match 3 months ago, but we didn't get that. So now, if it ends now, I think it will be a little too soon. They got maybe about another month or two out. They could get out of this, because Moxley can't just let it go like that. Because if he gets a little loopy, he's going to get angry at Hangman Page for doing that to him. That's what it looks like. Now, Lee Moriarty and Big Bill versus, really? Jungle Hook? Jungle Hook. I know I heard it earlier before and I was laughing the same way. It just doesn't sound right. But it is what it is. You got Hook with Jungle Boy. J-Boy as I call him. Was this a good match for the two brand new, never teamed on AEW television before? It wasn't bad. They need work if they continue working together as a tag team, which I think they might, because this is an opportunity for Hook to expand beyond the FTW. I know everyone's going to say that this is not time for Hook, but I said it myself, that eventually Hook had to start moving up and eventually go to the TNT title, or at least get another tier title. I didn't say that. I said beyond the FTW title, the best would be the TNT. But because of everything that's been going on from 2022, this year could be tag belts, which wouldn't be a bad thing for Hook. Working with someone who's been in the main title scene for the TNT title, the main tag titles, not a bad thing. So this actually could be a good thing for Hook to build up his credibility going like this. Seeing him actually suplex. No. What did he do? Did he do a fisherman suplex on Big Bill? I think he did. It wasn't bad. Hook's dad, Mr. Taz himself, Tazmaniac, is right. It doesn't matter about height or size. Once you get the proper hook in, once you get the proper hold in, you can get anybody. It doesn't matter. So, I'm alright if they stay a tag team. But the person I still feel like they got the short end of the stick of this is Luchasaurus. I'm sorry.
Luchasaurus was money and now he's not.
And that pisses my ass off, and I'm just being honest. Next, we got Kateska versus Bryan Danielson. But we didn't get that immediately. I had to remember about, what is it? Akasha Kateska. I believe that. Akashki Kateska. I gotta work more on my Japanese names. I'm not very good in Japanese names. I'm really bad at it. But was the MJF segment good? Yes, it was very good. Him insulting LA was great. Seeing him insult most of the crowd, particularly two well-known comedians, was done pretty well. And they leaned into it. The comedian saying, one of them, I can't remember which one it was. He's going, "What? Did you just insult me? What?" And that'll give him a little bit of material. And I'll tell you this: seeing his ass run faster than Bolt running up to. He ran faster than Bolt up that damn ramp. Everyone thought, "Oh, he can run." Damn. It was actually funny. It was done very well. He's going like this. If you didn't see it, watch it. It'll make you laugh. It'll make your ass laugh. But seriously, the match itself was very good. Kateska is a very good wrestler. And I know I didn't say anything about him talking back to MJF. The question is, how much English has he been learning? He basically said, "Kiss my ass." So he understands what that means. That's obvious. It's a curse. Like in Japanese, you can learn a Japanese curse. But I don't know if he knows pure English yet. He said he moved to America, so eventually he will learn some English as well as know Japanese. He'll become fluent eventually if he chooses to. But the question is, how much is he going to know? And will he know enough that whenever he moves to another company, because there's no guarantee he's going to stay with AEW, will it translate to something good for him eventually? One of the problems a lot of Japanese wrestlers have, female or male, they don't speak a lot of English. And the promoters, unfortunately, are very stupid and they don't know how to book them when it comes to having them speak English. They need to be booked better, I'm just saying. In the end, Bryan won, but I think he passed out instead of tapped out. I think he might have passed out. It was hard to tell from the angle from the camera. But it was done well. And I have no problem with it. And showing respect, going like this, no problem. It's fine. Now, who is the next opponent for Bryan Danielson, going to his rise to Revolution and seeing that he has to beat everybody? I wonder if he's going to go up against Moxley eventually. I do believe either's going to go up against, this is what I think, to make it really mean something, to show that he truly is one of the best, either's got to go up against Claudio, or he's got to go up against maybe either Claudio or Moxley or Wheeler Yuta. I think one of the three he has to go up against eventually. The match that I don't know if it was good or not. I mean, technically it was fine. When it came to Hayter and Britt Baker versus Saraya and Storm, I'm not saying it was bad, but the way it was, what were we looking at? Were we looking at face and heel? Because Hayter is not booed, she's cheered. That's the major problem we got with Jamie Hayter. Because Britt Baker, she's a clear heel. There's no problem with it. So is Jamie Hayter, but she's being cheered. She's getting pops. And that's a major problem sometimes. You can't have a heel with pops unless they're between her. And Jamie Hayter is not one. And then you got Saraya and Storm. And even though they love them, it's not like they're cheering them over Jamie. And that makes a very confusing dynamic. Of course, Britt, this is where you're going to see the question of where Sheeta's loyalties lie, because she comes out halfway through the match. She's with her kendo stick. She throws the kendo stick into the ring for who to get. The one that picks it up is Hayter, and and she nailed, no, was it Baker? I think it was Britt Baker who nailed Storm in the back, and she got the pin. So, as much as they'll say that Sheeta was so upset afterward, the question's going to be, is Sheeta going to go heel, going to go face, or will she not go heel or just stay as she is, and it's going to be Saraya that's going to get angry, and then she's going to have a feud, because this is what it's all boiling down to, because of that last interview they had, and it was Sheeta who seemed to be left out going like this, because she's just as good as Storm, but Saraya didn't even recognize her as one of the best wrestlers there's in that room. Are you going to have a Saraya that's going to turn heel? Are you going to have a Saraya who's just going to get angry because Sheeta feels insulted, and then they'll have a feud that way? I'm wondering if that's how it's going to go. I don't know which way. Now, supposedly, I got to say this now. Supposedly, if it is true, you're going to have the Acclaim with Daddy Ass on the Walk of Fame. It's too bright. Sorry, guys. You're going to see them, supposedly, they're going to have their own plaque. The Acclaim with Big Daddy Ass is supposed to have a plaque dedicated to them. If that's true, I'm going like, did they just do a Hulk Hogan? That they were so over with the fans that people demanded them to get a plaque on the Walk of Fame. If it is true and they are going to get a plaque, that's not a small little deal. One, that shows that Caster and Bowen with Daddy Ass, the Billy Gunn, really had such a great gimmick. It got so over, Hollywood had to recognize them. Two, that also helps AEW, particularly with, I know many people were wondering why I didn't say anything in the beginning about what happened with Steph. Look, guys, I'm not going to say anything right now. I'm not saying anything about Steph. I already made my gut report on what happened with Vince. I'm not saying anything about Steph. I know she left the company, but I'm waiting for more information to come in like I did for Vince. It's easy to report quick. Right now, there are too many rumors. I know there's a rumor that Saudi has already bought them. I know.
I know what you're thinking.
I know. But I'm not going to play into it yet until it's confirmed because it's all rumor and speculation about if the Saudi government has purchased it or almost finished the negotiations. I'm not saying yes. I'm not going to say no. I'm going to leave it. It's too dim now. I'm going to leave it until we get more information. That's the way it's going to be, guys. I'm leaving it until we get more information because we don't know. We don't know what's going on. It's easy to say, oh, the Saudis have bought it. Oh, that Steph left because Saudi Arabia is going to buy it and the prince is not fond of women. I'm not saying that yet because we don't know. Until it's fully confirmed, I'm leaving it. I know JD's already done this video. I know Just Alex has done this video. By this time, Solomonster has not made it, but he probably will say something after AEW when he does his stream. I know the Sleg Daddy did do a video about Steph leaving and about the possibility of it. But for me personally, I want to wait at least a little longer before I make a gut report. Maybe I'll make one next week because I really want to see if there's any new information. It's way better that way. Now, I'm just saying when it came to Caster, Bowen, and Billy Gunn, if it's real, that's an accomplishment. But to be honest, the way Hollywood is lately, it's not doing very well. But still, to get a Walk of Fame isn't something you just get easily or often. Let's move on to, let's see. I have to say that the audio for AEW on this episode was not good. You heard when it came to Tony Schiavone, his audio was clicking in and out a lot. In the ring, the audio was on and off, clicking out a lot, particularly with the comeback of Adam Cole. We got two Adams. Adam Page won his match for his comeback, and now Adam Cole has come back, and he made it very clear that it was important to know that people cared about him. After having one injury and then two brain hits, in other words, two concussions, both of them serious, he was not sure what to do. He didn't know what was going on. He said when he was in a car, some cases, he would start to feel like he had to vomit or did vomit in the car. He was having headaches. When he couldn't sleep, he would pace his home and Britt would be worried about him going, "What's wrong, honey?" And he says, "I don't know what's wrong with me." That was probably legitimate because he's been out for 6 straight months. He's been gone because of these injuries he's been getting. So he made it very clear how important it was. And hearing that at least some of the fans were saying clearly, "Where's Adam Cole? Is he all right? I hope he comes back all right." And then him saying clearly, for one of the fans, well, probably more than a few fans, saying, "I don't care if he ever wrestles again. Let him be all right." Legitimately, he got emotional to know that, and he's right. When you see wrestling, pro wrestling is a give more than you get a take. Guys, when you're a pro wrestler, you give a 90% of your life to the business if you're really passionate and you're really dedicated to it. 10% is going to go to your health and to your family. That's it. 3% to your health, and the remaining 7% is to your family. That's the way it works. That's how it's always been, at least in my perspective. You give 90% of everything that makes you what you are if you're truly dedicated. The remaining 10%, maybe 3% is you trying to get healthy, mostly to go back. And then the 7% is to your family. Make sure they get a good quality of life and trying to keep your marriage in one piece. That's the way it works. So it was important to see that. Let's see here. What else did we have here? Final match. And I know I'm leaving some stuff. Well, you know what? Maybe I should talk about this. Okay. The JAS. And Starks with Action and Ready. I'll briefly talk about this because knowing it's only Jake Hager that's going to be dealing with Ricky Starks because he put him through the table, it's not enough. For me personally, it's got us to be focused between Chris Jericho and Ricky Starks. Now, it's going to be a stepping stone. I do believe Ricky Starks is going to go through Jake, then he's going to go through Daddy Magic, then he's going to go through Tony, maybe Sammy, and then maybe Daniel, and eventually he'll go back to Chris again. But this is the lowest hanging fruit when it comes to Jake Hager. And I'm not against Jake. I'm not. They just don't sponsor him much. They don't do a lot with him much. Not on Dynamite or Rampage. Whatever character he shows on Dark or Elevation, we don't see it. So he's like the lowest hanging fruit. Then it's going to be maybe Daddy Magic, his partner. Then you're going to see maybe, I think, Daniel Garcia maybe. No, I think it's going to be Sammy Guevara, then Daniel Garcia, and then it's going to be Chris. That's what I think is going to happen. So they'll get the match next week. That's it. Finally, the last comeback of the night. The comeback the comeback episode of Best of 7, Ladder Match, The Elite, and Death Triangle. We've seen these guys do over and over again all these matches, trying their best to make it as different as possible. This is one of the problems when you do a best of, guys, that you do everything that you can over and over again and try to change at least some aspect of the same moves you do, no matter what type of environment it is. If it's a Falls Count Anywhere match, a no DQ match, a street fight, in this case a ladder match, it's always you're seeing the same moves. It counts on how much you can make those moves a little bit more different than you normally would and try to make it even more meaningful. Did they do that? In most cases, yes, but it's still a ladder match. It is still a ladder match. I'm hoping that Penta didn't get too hurt because I think it was Matt who basically splattered him really hard on his head, because you could see where Matt's body was like here and part of his body went here. The lower half and this is his torso right here. And it went like this to Penta. Not here, but sort of like here. Halfway across there. So he got most of his face covered up by Matt's torso. So I hope he's okay. And I don't think Kenny's too badly hurt. He looks like he's okay. I hope. But let's give it to you like this. Was the Best of 7 a good thing to do with the Elite? Yes. It helped to rebuild them and establish them. Because after what happened with the scrum, what happened with... Look, I know what Dax Harwood said. Forget about these problems. Let's work together and make some money. I know. Not everyone is fond of it, but he is right. The major problem I saw when the scrum happened was that Tony had no control over his roster. That is the major issue, and I got to say it like this. That now, we haven't heard that much what's been going on with the Raws because of what's been going on with WWE. This is WWE. This is what happened with the scrum and the roster. It is pretty low on reporting. No one's caring about it. Counting off is quiet. I know what Chris said about he'll never see a CM Punk in the roster again. Doesn't mean that CM Punk won't come back. And it doesn't mean that people won't still want him. It's just going to count on when he does come back because
he's still under contract.
He's still under contract. So he's still working for AEW even if he's home, still rehabbing, particularly after his suspension. So when it comes down to it, whether you like CM Punk or not, he's still going to go and work for AEW. The question is going to be, will there be any type of dysfunction after he comes back? If he's not dysfunctional, if he's functioning correctly, in other words, the Bucks and Kenny don't have an issue. They meet each other when he comes back and say, you know what, dude, let's bury it. We're sorry. If they just say, let's just make some money, let's do some business, do the handshake, and no noise, we'll be fine. If there's going to be noise, eventually something will be done. Either the Bucks will be suspended again with Kenny, or CM Punk will be suspended again, or any one of them could be fired. That's what could happen, but we don't know yet, so we can't speculate. But let's make it clear, CM Punk is still working for AEW. They have not broken his contract. They have not let him go. He will eventually come back. And this needed to happen for the Elite. The Elite needed to be rebuilt. In this best of 7, it had to happen. And people in Los Angeles were liking it. People in the previous 3 other venues loved it. So it shows that people love the Elite. Do they deserve it after what happened? Yes and no, because they botched it and then CM Punk botched it. Both sides are wrong. But at this point, seeing the fans are happy is more important than if you're still having a grudge against the Elite or CM Punk. Doesn't matter. AEW needs the Elite and CM Punk to function. This is what we got. And they managed to rebuild themselves with Death Triangle where they're right here. This is where they are now. They won. The question is, who's next? Because they're not, either one of them in the title picture. That's a good thing. And yes, Kenny Omega did win the IWGP US title from Will Ospreay at Wrestle Kingdom 17, I believe. Or is it? I think it's 17. But the key here is this. The Elite has rebuilt themselves from scratch, and people wanted them to be built up. And now here they are as the trio's champions. They're going to have to give them people to work with. Hopefully they're going to be booked correctly, and maybe we'll have some good feuds, and probably we're going to still see something with the Elite dealing with Death Triangle or the House of Black. Or, who else? Maybe the Dark Order, even though they're very heavily diminished. You never know. So this was a good episode of AEW. Did it have flaws? Yeah, the audio was an issue. I don't know how to feel about the women when it came to Jamie Hayter. I don't know. But this is just me. Peace.